Hello and welcome to the fourth video in our plywood mangrove fish tank build. In today's video we'll be making the mangroves themselves that will become the centrepiece of our tank, alongside the fish of course. If you haven't watched the previous parts yet, then click on the link on the screen to see part 1 where we made the stand, part 2 where we put together the tank itself, and part 3 where we paint and waterproofed it. But for those of you that have caught up, let's get making some roots. So for nearly any project like this, references are crucial to making sure that your end product looks as close as possible to the real thing, because it gives you something to continuously compare against. Just go on Google and gather a load of images of what you're looking at making and then cram them onto some pages and print them out. For the roots themselves, we decided to try out PVC pipe as the main framework, as it's easily bendable with the use of a heat gun, it's easy to cut to length, and it's easy to bond multiple pieces together with PVC solvent cement, connectors or screws. You'll notice that there isn't a whole lot of measuring going on here, and that's because when working with something like this, you want to try and make it look as natural as possible, so sometimes you have to just play it by ear and see what you end up with whilst having a clear image in your head. We have the tank nearby for doing test fits to make sure that we aren't making anything too big, but pretty much everything was gauged by eye and put together to make something resembling mangrove roots. You want to vary the length of the roots as much as possible to make sure that the finished piece is as interesting as you can make it look. You want some great looming arches, some tiny little sprouts of root that are just starting to make their way out the other roots, and some tangled messes where loads of roots have clumped together. It doesn't really matter how long or curved you make a piece of root. More than likely you'll be able to find a place for it to fit within your final piece. Your best bet is pretty much to make a whole bunch of different root sections and then worry about fitting it all together in your tank to get the final look you wanted. Remember, you can make adjustments at any time using your heat gun to make the pipe malleable again. It's entirely your choice whether you want to use actual couplings for your pipework or you just want to adhere pieces together using screws and PVC cement. The first method is straightforward. Just plug pipe into every opening with a coupler and use some PVC cement to hold it together and you're done. For the second method, you'll need to mark and cut out a notch for one piece of pipe to fit around the other one. A scroll saw works great for this. Once you've cut out the notch, you'll need to use your heat gun on the end of the pipe until it's soft enough to fit around the other pipe in order to give it the exact shape to fit snugly against the pipe. You then use some PVC cement and a small screw to secure it in place wherever you want it on the other piece of pipe. Work through like this until you've built up an entire framework of roots and give it a test fit to make sure everything fits inside your tank as desired. For any end pieces of root that will be in the air, you want to add the taper to the end so that they're not obviously visible as a piece of pipe. To get this effect, heat up the end and make a single cut down one part of the pipe the length of the taper you wish to create. Then just wrap the ends of the pipe around themselves to create a non-cone like effect that will give you the taper you want. You can also create little burrs or roots that have snapped by screwing thick rubber washers into the side of the pipe in multiple locations. This will just add a little bit of character to the final result, but can be skipped if you want, as it isn't necessary. When you're happy with the overall look of your roots, you can then move on to giving them the right texture instead of leaving them completely smooth. To get the effect, we're going to use some thin masking tape that we're going to loosely wrap around the pipework. We want it to be loose, as by crushing the loose tape around the pipe, you get a nice wrinkled bark-like effect, which is just what we're looking for. Go over all your pipework until everything has been covered with tape and you're happy with the results. You'll more than likely need a few rolls in order to get the whole lot covered, depending on how big you're making your root system. Once you finish with the tape, we're then going to move on to covering the whole thing in some polyurethane resin to give it some more strength, as well as bonding the tape fully to the pipework. As always, make sure to carefully follow the precise mixing instructions for your own resin, as everyone is different and getting the ratios wrong could ruin your mix. Be liberal with the resin and make sure to try and brush away any drips that are building up underneath the pipework until you've covered the entire thing. Once the resin has been left to cure, you're done with the construction aspect of the roots. If you've enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and put any comments below. If you want to see more videos like this, including how we're going to finish off the roots, then please make sure to subscribe. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.